from what I understand about Tencent Docs right now is it is like Google Docs basically, but Google Docs is something that I use a lot, and basically everybody I know that works online in Canada or USA or Europe, they will at least use Google Docs sometimes if it's not the main thing that they're using all the time. And it's a really convenient way to communicate with people across borders because we can pull up a Word-like document on Google Docs or a Excel-like document on Google Docs and collaborate on it in real time, right as we're having a meeting or whatever. And we do it with, I do it with you when you're in China too. And that's cool. You guys are really good at using VPNs, and we make sure that our network is good, and so it works for us, but it's not as convenient for everybody in China, Google Docs, because they might not have a VPN or their VPN might be spotty, So that's why Tencent Docs might be interesting. And we do have just one client that wanted to use Tencent Docs instead of Google Docs. So that's why I wanted to look into it. And you looked into it, right, Lawrence? So tell us what you think.
I think Tencent Doc would be really helpful for the Chinese marketing. I think the reason for that is, although we can use Google Doc for many occasions, but there is one feature that I think Tencent Doc beats Google Doc, and that is actually you can share the document, not only sending out a link, but also through a mini program or the QR code. So you know how often the Chinese are using the QR code in the market. So simply scanning the code, like the screen you're sharing now. So if you simply use your WeChat or your QQ to scan the code, then you can get into the Tencent Docs without actually really having to register an account, because most of the people are using WeChat. So it's very convenient for anyone to start using it.
Okay.
So
as I pull it up here and scan it, it is asking me to download something and install QQ.
No, I think you select as QQ. If you select the middle one is a WeChat, I think you have WeChat, right? So so there's three options. The left one, the first on the top hand side is QQ. The middle one is WeChat. On the right hand, that is business WeChat. So if you select the middle one, if you just
you can try to use your WeChat to log in.
Oh, right.
Click
okay.
This one.
Okay, keep telling us about it. I'll do this as you go.
Yeah, use your WeChat, scan the code.
You can still introduce other functions of this. During it, it's trying to scan the QR code.
Oh, okay, I think he's scanning. Yes, he get it. Okay, cool. So now we get into the Tencent Docs. And one of the other feature I think is really cool and convenient for Chinese people is that it has a lot of templates. So in Google Doc, it's not really having many templates. But now if you just scroll down, you can see there's a recommendation for this week. Because this is...
Well, hold on. I see what you mean, that the templates are conveniently here within Tencent Docs, but you can find a lot of templates on Google Docs too.
Yeah, but in here is rather convenient because in Google Doc, you have to find a lot of them. But in Tencent Docs, it's way too convenient for people to get into the main page and find those documents. As you can see, just simply open up a resume. So you can just fill them in details, and you can download them, you can send out as a resume for yourself. So a lot of people are not accessible to Google Docs in China, but in here, everyone can use Tencent Docs. And these templates are really designed for Chinese markets. I think there is a difference between what we have to do in China and what you will have to do in Canada or US. So I think those templates, the style is really useful for Chinese.
Right. Okay. So like this template that we have here, we have the photo. This is a resume that is Chinese style. So we have the photo of the person there, which isn't always on a resume in other places, and we have some some things that wouldn't be popular in the West on a resume, like like their ethnicity,
Nationality.
right?
Yes.
And their height and stuff, which is a
Yes.
strange thing to want from somebody if you're considering hiring them. But okay.
Because normally, in my experience, when I stay in Australia, you don't really figure out like what is your height, what is your weight, and what is your personality. You don't really talk about that. And this is a one cool feature you just open up. You can actually share the document through 5 ways. You can see right here. That's through QQ or WeChat, or you can share the link, or you can create a QR code, and you can even build up a picture of this document. So that is way too many options in China. As I know, in Google Docs, you can only like share the document through a link. So whatever you have to do, you have to send the link out. But now you can simply just share through the WeChat, because a lot of people are using WeChat.
Right. Okay. Hold on. Let me check those sharing options one more time. Okay. QQ, WeChat, link, QR code.
And
an image.
last
An
one
image
is
seems strange. What does that mean? It's not. You're not sharing the document. You're just creating an image of it to send to somebody.
yes.
Okay.
So
I'll just make a notable difference here is that there's no email, right?
Yeah.
there's no email, because in China we don't really using a lot of email to communicate with each others. Most of the time is like WeChat,
Yeah.
or other platforms.
Okay.
As you
And
can see,
everybody that uses this is going to need a WeChat account, right?
yes, but I would say like everybody has a WeChat account.
Yeah, everybody has a WeChat account, but well, I'm thinking about, is this useful for people that are doing cross-cultural business with China? So with Chinese teams and, a team that is like us, that has people in China and people in Canada or Europe or wherever. Is it useful compared to Google Docs? One of the notable problems that we would have in some cases would be that some companies wouldn't want their data stored with WeChat and Tencent, and it's accessible by the Chinese government, because that's in the news all the time. They hear about Chinese companies or Chinese government stealing technology and such, and then a big chunk of our clients are actually technology companies that, and occasionally they have these all these security requirements for us. So those kind of companies probably wouldn't want to use Tencent Docs. But then some other ones that maybe they're selling consumer products, or like education companies we work with, they don't really care so much. So they just want to use, they don't care about security. They just want to use whatever is convenient. And if this is convenient, we can use it, at least give it as an option to them, right?
Yes.
It's Tencent Docs that I'm using right now here it's a little bit slow for me.
I think,
but it's also because my computer, and I'm doing so many things. I'm doing the stream and everything. It's a little bit choppy, but does it work really well for you, really smoothly there?
Yes. In China, actually, when I open up those documents, it's really smooth and fast. So I never had any issue with like opening speed or the on-time saving. So whenever I type into something or edit something, it's really quick and fast.
Right. Okay. So quick and fast, as good as Google Docs, you mean, or better?
I think, in my point of view, it's better than Google Docs. Probably because when I'm using Google Docs, I have to set up the VPN, so there might be an internet issue with that. So I would say that Tencent Doc in China is way better than Google Doc when I'm starting to editing the data or doing anything with documents.
Okay. You don't know if it has any benefits in working with the Chinese language, do you?
Sorry, what's the question again? I think I missed that question.
Do you know if it has any advantages when it comes to working with the Chinese language? Like, I don't know what there could be, but there could be maybe better Chinese language fonts, for example, or better Chinese to English translation abilities. I suppose not, or anything to do that. Anything that means this is better for working with Chinese language than Google Docs.
I think there will be two things to mention at Tencent Docs. The first is the font. As you mentioned, we have a lot of fonts in here, and most of the time we don't. I think in Google Docs we use Arial or New Roman, but in here we use. I think we have our own fonts that we normally use in those documents. And the second thing is, I would still say the convenience of using it because of the WeChat. So now you can simply even use these functions, I think Tencent Docs, on your smartphone without having a computers. So as I said earlier, you can open up through a mini program. So I think that's just too convenient. So if you can just scroll down your mini program, you will find that actually you already have the Tencent Doc in your WeChat.
Okay. Let's take a look at my phone view here. And we'll see that I have these docs that I was working on there on my phone.
If you have saved them, then you just click into the mini program, you will see those documents.
Yeah, that's where I am right now from where I logged in earlier. I just I would use my phone to view this kind of doc, but probably not so much the sheets, because usually the experience of viewing that kind of thing doesn't work out very well on a phone, does it?
No, it's not. But you can view from like the Word document or a PDF files or even PowerPoint.
Yeah. Okay, so for people that are looking at the video here later, what I'm seeing here on my phone, this is Tencent Docs, but it is not a separate app that I installed. It's just I scanned the QR code on the website, and then this opened up this mini program within WeChat. That makes it pretty convenient to use. I could see how this would spread really fast, really fast. So what do you think, Lawrence? I'm thinking that we would recommend this to some companies that don't care about security as much and have more of a Chinese team than a global team and are not really attached to Google Docs right now.
Yes, I would say for the companies like education companies or the companies who are trying to get close to the Chinese audience, I would suggest them to use Tencent Docs because they will be without any barriers of accessing those documents. So for some Chinese company, as you said, they might not have a VPN or they probably have a bad VPN setting up. So if we can use Tencent Docs, it will be rather convenient for both companies in terms of communicating and sharing the documents.
Do you know if there's English on here too? Like if I wanted to change it into English?
So far, I don't think you can change it to English. No, you can't.
Right.
But you can choose like how you're gonna log in. You can see right here, you can through a QQ or a WeChat, but I don't think you can log in. You can change the system to English.
Okay.
I don't think I have found that features.
Well, it's something else useful to consider, right?
Yeah.
This is a clip from our weekly show about Chinese culture, Chinese technology, and Chinese marketing. If you like us, give us a like, subscribe, and you can see this show once per week live on Thursday evening or Friday morning, depending on where you are. Thanks, and see you later.